Hey everyone, Sam from United People's TV. It's Tuesday morning. We're here with an MUFC Transfer Daily, which is probably now just going to be a Van Gaal Transfer Daily. As we all know, the papers for the past 48 hours have been focusing on Louis van Gaal. And today's no different. If we look at the papers from last night, you can see further reports from Neil Custis and from Jamie Jackson, both saying that Louis van Gaal offered to resign after the Southampton game. Now, if you remember correctly, on Sunday night, James Ducker from The Times said that Louis van Gaal had offered to resign twice early this season. Both times were rejected by Ed Woodward. That's exactly the same tone they're taking from this one. Both papers are saying that Ed Woodward said, Louis, go back to Holland, speak to your family, and we'll talk about it on Tuesday. So the general consensus is that today, Louis van Gaal was set for crunch talks with Ed Woodward over his future. Would he stay? Would he go? For me, if a manager offers to resign, his head isn't in it anymore. His head won't come back in it. He's thought about it and he thought, now is the time to walk. And Louis van Gaal, yeah, his time at United has been tumultuous. But he's got a great CV and a great record over his career. If he thinks it's time to resign, he knows it's time to resign. And we should let him do that. We shouldn't you shouldn't keep him if he wants to resign. And that for me, that's baffling. If true, of course, everything's reports at the moment. It's all speculation. We're not saying it's fact. But when everybody reports it, Jackson, Custis and Ducker, you have to take notice. It's the sort of thing that maybe one paper will come out and it was a claim that's never followed up by anybody else. But when multiple newspapers do it at the same time, you have to think what's going on. Now, the Telegraph out in Holland, I may have said the Telegraph wrong, but it's the same newspaper that originally broke the story that Van Gaal will be coming to Manchester United. Now, the interesting point here is that yesterday they published an article saying Man United are worse than ever under Louis van Gaal, and they listed off a lot of statistics about how we've had only 1.22 goals per game, which is our lowest record in the Premier League, haven't scored in 10 out of 11 home games in the first half, lowest points tally at this total ever in the Premier League. They really go to town on Louis van Gaal. Now, the reason this is quite important, I feel, is because not that they've got the Dutch paper, Van Gaal doesn't have the Dutch papers against him, but they're not exactly painting a picture which helps you defend Van Gaal. They make it basically what they've said. It's justifiable to sack Van Gaal now, and again they published an article this morning, basically saying the same thing. Not the same thing, but they're following the suit of the papers in the English press by saying that today he's set for crunch talks over his future with Ed Woodward. This is really accelerating quite fast. It's a quickly developing story. If Van Gaal did offer to resign after Southampton, the only reason we wouldn't take it would surely be because we don't have a viable alternative, which to me would indicate that they don't feel Giggs is ready for the role, or the board can't agree on the successor, which is another story that's come out saying that the board is split between Charlton and Ferguson wanting Giggs and Arnold and Woodward wanting Mourinho. There's about 15 people overall in terms of executive, non-directors, glazers, etc., who all are part of this decision process. Hence why it might be slightly difficult to get a unanimous decision on his replacement, no matter who that man may be. All in all, I think Van Gaal's coming to an end, and I really feel it this time. Previously, it was just a few fans getting pissed off after Norwich and Stoke. Yes, that was always going to happen after losses, but it's been sustained now. We haven't improved. We're not going anywhere, and we're losing at home to Southampton. You've got the fans have lost support. I don't know. I've basically run out of things to say already. I just feel that like it could happen, whether it be this week or next week. I do feel that Van Gaal is probably going to walk. I think he's a sort of man who would rather resign than get fired. It's his last sort of hurrah, I suppose, his last exertion of power. But let me know in the comments below what you think of this story. But for me, I think Louis van Gaal's reign is coming to an end at Manchester United. Let me know your comments below. Like the video as always, please guys, it always helps. Subscribe to United People's TV if you're new. Just hit the subscribe button down there somewhere. And we'll be back tomorrow with another MUFC Transfer Daily with more updates on Louis van Gaal. Take it easy, guys.